The Gilded Age is not just about wealth and power. It's about the people willing to destroy each other to keep them. Episode 7 left the battlefield set. And now, with Episode 8 on the horizon, every character is walking straight into the storm. They've created quiet smiles, the whispered lies, and the perfectly dressed betrayals are all leading up to one explosive finale. If you thought the season was dramatic so far, Episode 8 promises to be the sharpest cut yet. Episode 7 was the moment where calm turned into quiet tension, like the air before a thunderstorm. It didn't give us loud explosions. It gave us loaded glances, secret meetings, and choices made behind closed doors. The kind of choices that don't just affect one person, they pull entire families, fortunes, and reputations into chaos. And now, every one of those decisions is about to catch fire in the finale. Let's start with Bertha Russells. Her ambition has always burned bright, but in Episode 7, that fire started to consume everything in its path. She's no longer just chasing a seat at the table, she's now demanding a crown of her own. The opera war has escalated far beyond art or society. It's personal now. Bertha isn't just proving herself to old moneys trying to rewrite the rules of who belongs in power. When she makes that bold move with the Metropolitan Opera in this episode, it's not just about music. It's about making the old guard kneel. And the way she does it, it's cold, calculated, and powerful. But it's also dangerous. Because in New York society, every step up means someone else has to fall. On the other side of town, Marian Brooke is quietly becoming the season's secret weapon. She might look soft compared to Bertha's steel, but don't be fooled. Episode 7 showed us a Marian who's no longer willing to be controlled. Her decision to pursue her teaching career and distance herself from the rigid expectations of her Aunt Agness was more than just a personal choice. It was an act of rebellion. And in this world, rebellion doesn't always mean yelling in the streets. Sometimes it means standing still while everyone expects you to follow. Marian is walking. A thin line still part of high society, but now quietly resisting its grip. That growing independence will play a big role in an episode. 8. The trailer already hints at a moment where Marian may have to choose between comfort and courage. Then there's Oscar Van Ryn, who's digging himself into a hole he may not be able to climb out of. Episode 7 revealed more cracks in his double life. His engagement plans are now tangled in a web of secrets, and his real identity is closer than ever to being exposed. What makes Oscar's storyline so compelling is how calm he appears on the outside, but inside the pressure is building, and we can feel it with every move he makes. The trailer shows him standing in a shadowed hallway, glancing nervously over his shoulder. That one shot says everything Oscar knows. He's running out of time. Meanwhile, the background characters are starting to make bold moves of their own. Ada finally seems to be stepping out from behind her sister's shadow. Her subtle support for Marian in Episode 7 wasn't just kindness, it was her own way of pushing back. Peggy Scott, who's faced both racial and personal barriers throughout the season, made a strong choice to focus on her career as a journalist. And with her father's business under pressure and her own voice becoming louder in the newsroom, Episode 8 could be a major turning point for her. All these storylines were planted carefully through the season, but now they're reaching full bloom. Episode 7 didn't give us the final clash, but it set up the battlefield. Every major character has made a move, and now we're waiting for the counterattack. The trailer hints that Episode 8 will be filled with social explosions, personal revelations, and one or two final betrayals. And when the dust settles, not everyone will be standing. The most chilling part of all, no one's raising their voice. No one's storming out of rooms. Instead, they're sipping tea, exchanging smiles, and delivering words that cut deeper than any weapon. That's what makes the Gilded Age so sharp. It's not just the dresses or the diamonds, it's the silent wars being fought behind velvet curtains. This is the tension we're walking into in Episode 8. And from the looks of the trailer, this isn't just the end of a season, it's the end of an era for some characters, and the ruthless beginning of something new for others. The trailer for Episode 8 doesn't scream, it whispers. And yet every frame feels like a ticking clock. This isn't just a collection of clips. It's a carefully built warning. The Gilded Age Season 3 is about to end, but not before it takes a few final swings. The trailer is short but packed, with tension, clues, and subtle warnings. Let's break it down scene by scene and look at what's really going on beneath the surface. The trailer opens on Bertha Russells, standing at the edge of an empty opera house. The lights are low, the seats are dark, but she's there alone. That shot is quiet, but it screams meaning. She's not looking at the stage. She's looking at the empire she's trying to build. The opera war that started as a rivalry is now a full-blown crusade for her. In this one frame, we see Bertha at her most dangerous, not shouting or fighting, but planning. It's the calm before the storm, and she's holding the match. Cut to Marian, standing in a sunlit classroom. Children's voices echo faintly in the background. She's not speaking in this shot, but her face is full of emotions, somewhere between nervous and proud. This is Marian stepping fully into her new life. The moment feels peaceful, but it's also bold. In a world that keeps trying to box her in, she's creating her own path. And if you look closely, the camera lingers. Just long enough to show Aunt Agness watching from the hallway, expression unreadable. That small detail? A warning? The fight between them isn't over. It's just going silent. Then comes Oscar Van Ryn's face, half in shadow. He's at a dinner table, laughing with guests, but the lighting and the camera angle tell a different story. He looks confident, sure, but there's a flicker in his eyes that gives him away. Something's coming. A scandal, maybe. A confrontation he's not ready for. The trailer cuts quickly to him alone in his study, hands shaking as he reads. A letter. The contents aren't revealed, but the fear is all over him. This letter could destroy everything he's built. The fact that it appears twice in the trailer, that's not an accident. It's a signal Oscar's secret is no longer safe. Now, we're with Peggy Scott, walking through the newsroom, papers in hand, fire in her eyes. This scene feels different, stronger. She's no longer asking for permission. She's taking space. The trailer gives us a fast glimpse of her arguing with her editor, her voice raised for the first time this season. But it's not just about the article, it's about finally being heard. And what's even more powerful, the next shot shows her father, silent, watching her from a distance. There's pride there, but also fear. Peggy is rising, and the world she's in may not be ready for it. Bertha returns mid-trailer. This time in a room full of people, politicians, businessmen, social rivals. She smiles, lifts a glass, and makes a toast. The trailer doesn't let us hear her words, but the room's reaction says everything. Shock, applause, anger. Something about this toast changes everything. Whether it's a business move or a personal declaration, this moment is key. It could be her greatest power play or the start of her fall. And then, the trailer hits us with its fastest sequence, yet almost blinked and dealed my sit. Shots, Agness slamming a letter on her desk, Larry Russell looking torn between two people, Aurora Fane crying behind a veil, a servant, eavesdropping at a door, a man being thrown out of a parlor, Bertha's eyes filled with tears, but she's still smiling. These quick cuts are meant to shake us. They're not telling a full story, but they're giving us pieces. Betrayal, loss, confrontation, and somewhere in the middle of it all, someone wins. Someone gets crushed. One of the final scenes is Marian, dressed for a formal event, standing at the top of a staircase. She takes a deep breath, steps forward, and then it cuts. That's not just a fashion moment. It's a transformation. She's walking into a room that once controlled her. Now, she might be the one in control, but the trailer's final shot is the most haunting. It's a wide-angle view of the city, foggy, gray, unsettled. And then Bertha's voice, quietly. In the background, there is no place in this world for those who stay silent. The trailer fades to black. It's not just about wealth or elegance anymore. Episode 8 is war. A war fought with gossip, alliances, and carefully spoken words. The trailer shows us that every character is stepping into battle. Some are ready, some are bluffing, and a few, they don't even know they've already lost. Asterisk. Some finales wrap things up neatly, but the Gilded Age doesn't believe in neat endings. It believes in power plays, broken promises, and the kind of decisions that haunt you long after the season ends. After watching the trailer for episode 8, it's clear this isn't just the conclusion of a season, it's the fallout of every risky move these characters made since episode 1. The clues are there. And if we read between the lines, we can see which characters are about to rise, which ones will fall, and who might not survive socially or emotionally. Let's start with the biggest player on the board, Bertha Russells. She spent the entire season climbing a social mountain while everyone tried to pull her down. But in episode 8, the trailer hints that she's not climbing anymore, she's standing on top, ready to burn the mountain if she has to. The mysterious toast she gives in the trailer likely seals the fate of the opera war. Maybe she buys out her rivals. Maybe she hosts an event so grand that no one dares to challenge her again. Either way, it looks like Bertha is about to win. But winning always comes at a price. Her tears in one shot mixed with a smile feel like someone who's sacrificed something deeply personal for public victory. Could she be losing George's support? Or maybe the social world she worked so hard to enter is about to reject her in a new, colder way. Then there's Marian, quietly making the most dangerous move of all, choosing herself. In a society where women are expected to marry rich and obey rules, Marian's decision to build her own life is revolutionary. And it's not just about teaching. The trailer's final shot of her at the staircase suggests she's stepping into a public memento ball, a gathering, something where all eyes are on her. This could be her claiming a place in society on her own terms. But it might also be the moment where she leaves it behind completely. If rumors start flying about her choices, or if she publicly challenges Aunt Agness, Marian could become a scandal herself. Or she could be the beginning of a new kind of woman in New York. Not a trophy wife, not a quiet niece, but something stronger. Oscar Van Ryn, however, is on borrowed time. His smooth lies and polished charm may have fooled some, but not for long. That letter he's holding in the trailer, it's likely tied to his double life. Maybe someone has found out about his true romantic interests. Maybe it's blackmail. Or worse, maybe it's a threat from someone he once trusted. His engagement? Plans could be destroyed in one swift move. And if that happens, Oscar will be left exposed in a world that punishes secrets harshly. One possible prediction? Oscar might try to get ahead of the scandal by exposing himself first. But that kind of confession, especially in this era, could cost him everything, including his family name and wealth. Meanwhile, Peggy Scott is about to face her biggest test yet. The trailer shows her speaking up at the newsroom, but the real twist might come from outside her job. Her family's business is struggling. And her success as a journalist might threaten the image her father worked so hard to protect. One theory: Peggy's story will lead her to uncover a powerful truth possibly tied to race.
Money?
Or corruption that puts her in direct conflict with both her employer and her family, may be forced to choose between protecting those she loves and publishing a story that could change everything. It's not just a plot twist, that's a defining moment for her future. Let's not forget Ada. Brooke and Agness Van Ryn. The trailer barely shows them, but that's not a sign of silence, it's a warning. Ada has grown stronger this season, slowly stepping out from her sister's shadow. If anyone is going to confront Agness in the finale, it might be her. Imagine a moment where Ada, after years of submission, finally says no, and Agness, used to getting her way, finds herself alone for the first time. That kind of emotional shift wouldn't just affect their household, it would shake their entire corner of society. And in the background, there's likely one last surprise. The Gilded Age loves to keep a few cards hidden. The trailer hints at a figure being thrown out of a parlor, a servant listening at a door, and Aurora Fane crying under a veil. These aren't random shots. These are signs that a secret is about to explode. Maybe someone gets caught in a lie. Maybe a scandal from the past returns. Or perhaps a quiet character someone we haven't been watching closely makes a bold move that turns everything upside down. Whatever happens, one thing is certain: Episode 8 won't just finish the story. It will shake the foundations of who holds power, who pays the price, and who gets to write the next chapter. The Gilded Age doesn't end with a quiet goodbye. It ends with a gasp. Asterisk, every character has reached a tipping point. Some climbed their way up with charm and calculation. Others rebelled quietly, refusing to play by society's rules. And now, with episode 8 just days away, The Gilded Age is ready to close its third season with something more powerful than drama consequences. This isn't just the end of storylines. It's the start of new legacies, broken systems, and emotional shifts that will echo into Season 4 and beyond. Let's dive into what this finale truly means for the series, and how it reshapes everything we thought we knew. At its heart, The Gilded Age is about transformation, people trying to reshape their place in a world that refuses to bend. Episode 8 looks like the moment when that refusal cracks wide open. Take Bertha Russells. Her journey from an outsider to a dominating force in New York society has never been about just fitting in. It's been about taking control. But the finale might reveal that even when you win the game, the rules can still punish you. The trailer shows her both powerful and vulnerable, which tells us that episode 8 could be her most important test yet. Will she finally be accepted by the old money elite? Or will she realize that being accepted isn't worth the parts of herself she's had to give up? A more likely twist? Bertha doesn't wait for their approval anymore. She rewrites the rulebook. Episode 8 might mark the end of her war with the old guard, not with a handshake, but with a declaration that the future belongs to people like her. If that's the case, Bertha could go from social climber to queenmaker. And the fallout could leave a permanent mark on New York's upper class. Now let's talk about Marian Brooke. Her storyline has always been slow-burning, but it's about to become the emotional core of the finale. All season long, she's been pulled between duty and freedom, between what's expected and what's right. In episode 8, she's likely going to make a final decision, one that shifts her entire arc. Will she stay in the shadow of her powerful family, or walk away completely and build a life that's truly hers? One theory based on the trailer: Marian will be faced with a proposal or a last chance offer from someone who wants to rescue her from scandal. But instead of choosing love or status, she'll choose herself. That staircase shot wasn't just about entering a room, it was about leaving behind everything that's tried to define her. And if she does take that step, it won't just change. It'll send shockwaves through the Van Ryn household. Speaking of the Van Ryns, Agness and Ada's relationship may be heading toward its most brutal chapter yet. For years, Agness has controlled the home with quiet dominance, using tradition as her weapon. But episode 8 could finally flip that dynamic. Ada, newly emboldened by her own independence, may stand up to her sister in a way we've never seen. This wouldn't be a loud fight. It would be subtle, a choice Ada makes without asking permission. Maybe she supports Marian. Maybe she leaves the house. Maybe she simply says no. Whatever it is, the finale could break apart one of the season's most complicated bonds and force Agness to face a world she can no longer control. Then there's Oscar, who has built his entire image on charm and secrecy. That letter in the trailer and the nervous glance we see, those are signs of collapse. Episode 8 might be the moment he gets exposed. Whether it's a lover, a rival, or someone within his own family, the truth looks ready to explode. If that happens, Oscar won't just lose status, he could lose his entire future. But there's also a chance for redemption. The finale might offer him a chance to stop running and start living as his true self. The question is, will he take that risk in a world that punishes honesty? Peggy Scott stands at a crossroads of her own. She's no longer just a writer. She's becoming a voice. The trailer suggests her story will collide with something much larger, possibly a scandal she uncovers, or a truth she's been hiding. Episode 8 could be the moment she steps into public view, not as someone's assistant or someone's daughter, but as her own force. If she publishes something that shakes the elite or speaks out in a way that challenges her father's world, Peggy might become the most important woman in the finale. And that shift would mean the Gilded Age is no longer just about the wealthy. It's about the voices rising beneath them. Finally, there's the overall tone of the trailer: foggy streets, sharp words, and unresolved glances. These aren't just artistic choices. They hint that the finale will leave some doors open, that means cliffhangers. That means a surprise exit or a sudden fall from grace. It also suggests the writers are planning for Season 4 to begin in a completely different emotional space, maybe even with a time jump. Relationships may end, fortunes may collapse, new alliances may form in the ashes of everything that happens in Episode 8. Because at its core, the Gilded Age isn't about who's winning now, it's about who's strong enough to survive what comes next.